The desert stretched before them, endless and silent beneath the weight of the night. The stars burned cold in the sky, indifferent to the journey of one man and his family. Moses gripped the reins of his donkey, his thoughts a whirlwind. Behind him, the soft murmurs of his wife, Zipporah, and their young sons barely reached his ears. He was returning to Egypt. Egypt, the land he had fled. The land where his past lay buried like bones in the sand. The land where Pharaoh ruled in splendor while his own people, the Israelites, groaned beneath slavery's cruel hand. And yet the Lord had spoken. The God of his ancestors, the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, had appeared to him in fire. A flame that did not consume the bush but burned with a command that could not be ignored. Go, deliver my people. But as the caravan settled for the night, something unseen stirred in the darkness. Presence. A force. Zipporah felt it before she saw it. A weight in the air. A coldness that settled in her chest, making her breath hitch. She turned toward Moses, and her heart seized in terror. Moses was not moving. He slumped forward, his face drained of color, his breath ragged and slow. A shadow loomed over him, unseen but suffocating, pressing down upon his very life. And then she knew. She did not know how, but she knew. The covenant. The God of Israel had made a covenant with Abraham, the mark of circumcision, a sign of those who belonged to him. Every male among his people must bear it or be cut off from the promise. Moses, the man chosen to stand before Pharaoh, the man called to deliver God's own people, had neglected the very command that set them apart. And now judgment had come. There was no time to think, only time to act. Her hands trembled, but she did not hesitate. She grabbed a sharp flint knife, the weight of it cold and heavy in her palm. With a steady breath, she knelt beside her son. It had to be done. The blade flashed in the dim firelight. The child let out a cry, piercing the night like a blade of its own. Blood, warm and thick, welled against her fingers. With her jaw clenched, Zipporah took the bloody foreskin and pressed it to Moses' feet. Her voice was low, tight with emotion, a mix of anger, sorrow, and something deeper. Surely you are a bridegroom of blood to me. The moment the words left her lips, the unseen weight vanished. Moses breathed. The presence withdrew, and the night fell into an eerie silence. The stars still burned in the heavens, but now they seemed to watch with knowing eyes. Moses stirred, his breath no longer labored. His gaze met hers, filled with something unspoken. She had saved him. She had stood between him and death. But something had changed. As they packed their things in the morning, Zipporah's fingers brushed against Moses' hand, but there was a quiet understanding between them now. This mission, this dangerous, holy mission, was not hers. And so, she and their children turned back, returning to her father, Jethro, in Midian. Moses would go forward alone, walking the path the Lord had set before him. She would not see him call down plagues upon Pharaoh's kingdom. She would not stand beside him as the Red Sea parted or hear the thunder of God's voice from Mount Sinai. Her story, her role, faded into the background of history. But one night, one moment, one desperate act of obedience had changed everything. She was a woman of the wilderness, a woman of courage, a woman whose hands had saved the man destined to deliver a nation. And though her name is often forgotten, the blood of her sacrifice whispered through the generations, a testament that obedience to God could turn the tides of life and death.